welcome back. I'm delighted this morning to introduce, for the first time at Green Spring, I might add, Stephanie Reinheimer, who is our new social worker in Neighborhood 1.
That's correct.
Stephanie, we're just delighted to have you both on Village in Motion and also at Green Spring. And this is your introduction here this morning. Kathleen Taylor, who normally would be introducing you, is off this week and sent her apologies for not being here. But she wanted to be sure that, number one, it was understood that you were an intern here at Green Spring, and so lots of folks already know you.
Right.
Let's talk a little bit about your background, Stephanie. You got your baccalaureate degree in social work at Eastern Mennonite University.
Yes.
Which is over in Harrisonburg.
Yep. It's, most people haven't heard of that school in particular, but it's by James Madison University. So I always use that as a reference to explain the geography of it.
That certainly is a university town, isn't it?
Yes, it really is.
Yeah. And then you went on. And you actually worked in geriatric or CCRCs, didn't you?
During my undergrad? I did, yep. My undergraduate internships were actually in two separate CCRCs, such as this one in Harrisonburg and then also Bridgewater, Virginia. So not a newbie to a setting such as this one here.
No, I was impressed at that. The fact that you knew what they were like before you
exactly, yes.
Went any further. All right, and then you were a student at George Mason, getting your MSW, your Master's in Social Work. And I was impressed also by the fact that you have a certificate in gerontology.
I do, yes. Coming into my graduate program, I knew that geriatric social work was really the type of social work I was interested in. And so George Mason, I was connected with, I guess, the leader of their gerontology certificate, and decided that it would probably be beneficial for me, just educational-wise, to get that as well with my MSW.
Well, I think the very fact that you have a familiarity and a specialty really in geriatrics is very impressive, Stephanie. That speaks very well, I think. Also, the fact that, again, you did your internship here while you were doing your MSW.
I did, yes.
So you were here for like 6 months?
A little longer, actually, if you don't count the breaks. So I was here starting last August through this past May, so
all right.
maybe 9 months.
So the whole academic year.
Yeah, exactly. And I was with Sue Frankie in Village Square, so.
Yes, okay. Well, we're just delighted to have you. And you started here at Green Spring in first week in October?
Last week in September, first week in October, about there, and I had about 2 weeks overlap with my predecessor, Catherine Hornbeck, which we felt was beneficial as well.
For sure it would be.
Yeah.
Have you settled in?
I think so, yep. I have certainly hit the ground running, and they keep me busy here, which I think is a good thing. I'm certainly grateful for my past time here at Green Spring. I feel it makes the transition a little easier with the new job.
It would make it much easier, I'm sure. Yes, you would have met many of the staff, and we're certainly hoping that you will have some ability to, either in a social setting or something, to meet the members of Neighborhood 1, residents of Neighborhood 1.
Yeah, I think I heard, and I hope I'm not misspeaking, that I have the ability to hold like a meet and greets at some point. So I think that would be good for everybody.
Oh, good. That would be excellent. Well, Stephanie, one of the first duties you were assigned, I think, was being the facilitator of the low vision group.
Yes, that is correct.
And that's one of the things we're going to talk about. And in the interest of honesty and frankness, I will say that I'm also a member of the low vision group. Let's talk a little bit about this. We had the first meeting about 3 weeks ago.
We did, yep.
Tell us your take on this situation. Because we're kind of starting fresh now.
We are, yes.
Group.
I think the approach we took with our first meeting, like you said, 3 weeks ago, was really to get a kickstart and to revitalize the group, just because we have some new faces and a new facilitator. And so, as you know, we took the opportunity to really hear from at least the current members on what they're looking for from a support group, have open discussion on what they felt was helpful in the past, what wasn't helpful, and then use that to kind of plan the next couple of meetings that we have in the months to come.
Yes, I think maybe that was one of the first times that they had been asked what would help you? What do folks want and need? I think probably the results were very much the same as other support groups here. People talked about wanting to know about technology, and that the educational programs were probably very helpful.
Right, I agree.
Did you have that sense?
Absolutely. I think you have the aspect of the peer support, but I did hear a very strong response that they were looking for education, whether that be from low vision specialists or professionals, different speakers, and then two, I know we've talked about just advanced technology these days, how it can really help people adapt and acclimate with their low vision deficits. And so I think that's hopefully the track will be taken in the months to come.
Yes, certainly with vision issues, technology, well, I suppose hearing too.
Right, exactly.
Would be the same thing, but certainly with low vision issues, technology is just critical. With the e-readers and with magnifiers, just to name two of them. And certainly computers, being able to enlarge.
Exactly, and tablets and all of that.
And tablets.
As simple as just kind of using your fingers to zoom in. Low-cost device to have, and hopefully pretty easy to learn to use as well if you're committed to learning.
Yes, I think there is some difficulty, particularly with the older residents who have not been used to technology. But
Right.
I think probably, particularly as people are moving in, that they're going to be more comfortable with it. But technology certainly was a big aspect. And as you're pointing out, the whole issue of peer support, talking about how people strategize to adapt to low vision issues is a big, it really is a major issue.
Absolutely, and I know that you and I have talked in the past, when you have a loss of any of the senses, in particular hearing or vision, there's a lot of an emotional impact, whether that be frustration with inability to do what you used to do, embarrassment in social settings, and so having that peer support and being with folks who can understand your situation and, like you said, share things that have worked for them to help them feel more comfortable with their low vision is really beneficial. In fact, I actually was just talking with somebody who had called to hear about the support group, who said she has been struggling with coming to terms with it and feels that with a support group, perhaps hearing the experiences of others can help her put a name to what she's experiencing. She doesn't really know how to vocalize it. And so hearing from others and having a better understanding of how it is in herself is something that she's looking forward to and is hoping to join us in next group's meeting, which was exciting to hear.
That's a wonderful example. When we had Dr. Alibi here, who is the head of the Low Vision Center in Alexandria and Bethesda, he talked about the fact that that low vision was one of the major causes of depression in aging. There's no question about it. Yes, I think the whole emotional impact, really, of any disability.
Exactly, yeah.
But vision, I think when people are asked about what sense would be the hardest for you to lose, it's always vision.
Right.
I think that's quite a unanimous thing.
Absolutely.
So the thought of really, particularly total blindness, is really quite a daunting one.
Really, yeah.
And I think often we're finding with support groups that socialization really becomes important.
I was going to say, I know that, again, we've talked about the hope that we'll enlarge the group and have regular attenders so that peer support can develop into long-standing relationships and have that social aspect as well. I think obviously will take time, but certainly is a goal that we have.
Yes. We should also say, Stephanie, that the practice manager in Dr. Alibi's office, Ann Cook, who is a RN, has had pretty much not total blindness, but very nearly total blindness herself, and is the daughter of a resident here, Abernathy, will also be joining the group. The low vision, the resident really in charge of the hearing loss group, Marie Lee, is also going to be joining the group at meetings. So we have some wonderful support.
Right, absolutely. And too, as a social worker and the facilitator, I will never claim to be the expert on low vision. I can really claim to be an advocate and hopefully a connection to resources and folks such as Anne and Marie who will have a little bit more specialized knowledge on it, and certainly very much looking forward to having both of them come in and joining us. And we can mention that Anne actually, she was participating in the low vision group. It was, I guess, not last time, but the meeting before. So some folks may have met her before.
That's right. She came with Dr. Alabama.
Right.
Yes, and she also has been a long-term facilitator of a support group in McLean. So has a lists of speakers and is going to be a wonderful resource for us.
Absolutely. Her connections and network that she has, I think, will be so beneficial for us here as we are moving forward.
It will. I think we're really excited about the potential for this group, Stephanie, and your enthusiasm and help is going to be just invaluable. I was there at your first meeting, which was this last one, and I thought you did a splendid job of facilitating. I was most impressed.
Well, thank you.
It looked good. One of the things that we might mention in terms of social work that is upcoming, we're going to be, social work and our Vantage Point program is going to be sponsoring a community forum.
That's right.
January 11th.
Okay.
And it will be exploring your legacy. And we're calling it Exploring Your Legacy 2 because we held one about a year and a half ago.
Right. And I've heard it was very successful, a big hit.
It was. We had wonderful attendance. We're still in the planning process for it, but what we'll probably be covering is memoir writing, advanced directives, ethical wills, and oral traditions.
Okay.
So, and also gerontology, tracing your ancestry.
Okay.
How to do that online. So, look for more information about that. It will be in the Hunters Crossing Conference Center. So we're anticipating a good turnout for that.
Wonderful.
Anything else you can think of in terms of social work at this point?
We just had our, I guess the Memory Expo was,
Yes.
gosh, I'm going to be showing my own memory here. How many weeks ago would you say that was? Maybe just 2 or so?
That was November 1st.
Okay. Which we felt was a good hit. We had the dietitian come and talk about diet and how that impacts memory. But other than what you just mentioned, we've got some good things coming up, but nothing that I can think of in particular to mention.
All right. Well, I think with that, Stephanie, again, welcome to Green Spring. We're delighted to have you. We'll look forward to seeing you again in the future. And good luck with this low vision group.
Thank you.
I'll be personally very interested in following how this goes. I think it's going to go very well.
Great.
I think we'll stop now and have some announcements.